Hello, how you guys doing? James here. Hope you're doing having a good day. It's a beautiful day out there, and just went out earlier and just come on back inside. It's just like it's cool out there, but it's a good day to get out there with the family. I hope you're having a good weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Um, I want to show you on this video. I want to show you a social issue, and I'm going to be responding to the content creators about this more, fallout from this all white town with these people on there, and I'm going to let you hear they respond, and I was come into the video. But shout out to this first commentator calls
Video that's going really viral on the internet. Sky News
Chris.
sent a reporter to rural Arkansas, to investigate a town that's being built for, quote, whites only. This is some truly disgusting stuff, and I haven't seen this video that I'm about to play. But we're gonna talk about it, react to it together. I think it's important to shine light on stuff like this, as this outward racism in the United States is worse than it has been in decades. And I think it's also important for people watching this who look like me to realize that stuff like this has been happening for a while. It just hasn't been so out in the open. And so it's important to remember that as well, and how it relates to us fighting against it, and how it relates to Donald Trump, because frankly he's empowering these groups. Alright, let's take a look at this video together, and we'll react to it.
So you know that it's about time that
Oh,
you shut
I hate
down
this.
your one-on-one coaching or consulting business or agency business.
Alright,
That
let's take a
just
look at
was
this
getting
video
on my nerves, man.
together, and we'll react to it.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture effectively was saying, this is a white culture, a whites only place.
White American culture.
Over the last year and a half, high up in the Ozark Hills in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, leveling the land, building houses. They call it an intentional community based around shared ancestry, a long-winded way of saying something really quite simple.
I think we would generally be called far right, sure.
It's called Return to the Land, and they invited me in.
A lot of people are going to be white making Nazi references.
Right.
Well, why wouldn't I?
A seemingly bucolic, sometimes surreal experience. But this is built on a radical modern premise, made possible because of a new political and technological moment. One with strong ties to the most active far-right groups in the US. Instead of taking to the streets, they are building their own, for generations to come.
It's important for me to do this for my ancestors, my friends, my family, my children, my children's children.
But in this southern US state, people who have lived through segregation once fear it is returning.
When you hear things like that, it causes you to be fearful. And you don't know who to trust.
Its founder says he is building a fortress for the white race.
It's a racial association. I kind of want to ask you, after seeing this, do you think what we're doing is immoral?
Yes. I think what you're doing is atrociously immoral. Yes. Do you believe that your race, the white race, is superior to other races, or you need to protect it from other races because it's superior? And that's disgusting and gross and not acceptable. In your town, the government should come into your town and tear it the hell down, okay? I don't know where the legality lies for this. I would really like the state of Arkansas to, I don't know, do something about it, which I think there's some rumors in the air that they may. This is gross. This is disgusting, okay? And yes, I think it's immoral and based in complete garbage, random man that I don't care to know the name of. That's it, dude. This is insane.
My name's Nikki, N-I-K-I, I'm 32. I'm a lady.
This is Return to the Land, a group of millennials who organised online to build something radical and controversial. A town for white people only. They insist it's completely legal.
First of all, no, it's not. Second of all, like, okay. I do appreciate Sky News doing the journalism, going out here and making this known. But what do you mean? What do you mean radical and controversial? No. These are settled issues. Okay, it's not controversial. It's gross. It's disgusting. And I get it. As a journalist, you want to be, I don't know, try to be like independent and just report. But at what level are we just continuing to like normalize these issues? At what level, me making this video, am I continuing to normalize these issues? I don't know. You can let me know in the comments how you feel kind of about that and how we're supposed to be reporting on stuff like this. Because it's almost like we're opening the door, and this relates to other issues in the far right world. Vaccines, for example, like as we're debating this, like there is no debate. Vaccines, for example, are a settled issue. Okay, racism is there is no debate to be had here. Right? And so, like, as we're talking about it and debating it, like, for example, we see debates online of people debating about vaccines. Are we opening the door to normalization of issues that should not be normalized? I don't know the answer to that. You can let me know in the comments down below.
We spent several days with them, watching as the men set about the physical labour of building out the site. All the while, the women of the group took on the more typically trad, homesteading type roles.
I found the people through Twitter that ended up starting this project, actually spearheading it, and
That's insane. That is insane. I cannot believe, I just assumed all these people like knew each other or were like family related in some way. That you found them through Twitter? Oh my god, this is why Elon Musk, buying a social media site and being a far-right lunatic, is destroying our society. Wow, that's nuts.
I went out to the first April event last year, and it was really fun.
The sort of white-only aspect of this, how important is that to you guys?
Given the premise that it's something that is kind of off limits for whites, but is okay by implication for other groups, I do feel it's necessary to carve that out, and you kind of have to do it yourself.
It's kind of like if we don't do this, the laws are only getting worse as far as freedom of association goes.
Comment right there. I was thinking about this earlier. It's funny, I made a video about being separation, and for some reason YouTube took it down. But yet you have people making some of these people making channels with this particular gentleman saying the same thing. And it's coming from them saying that they want separation. But when I made the video about, well, there's other people gonna want separation too. Well, that didn't get too popular, and they took the channel down for the same thing that this guy is saying. the same thing this guy is telling people. But I just thought that was kind of. That's all I gotta say about that.
The laws are only getting worse as far as freedom of association goes.
That's so absurd. That's just so absurd. This is like the definition, the like furthest definition of when privilege starts to normalize, it feels like oppression. And like we see people who vote for Trump particularly go down this line of thinking. Maybe they haven't reached the point that they're building a town. But what are you talking about? If we don't do this, it's just absurdity. Oh my god.
So it's kind of like we have to do this, or there might come a time where it's not possible to.
Yeah, you guys are aware, sort of, people that are watching, it's going to be controversial.
I think people just have a large misunderstanding of what's happening here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the biggest misunderstanding?
Well,
That we hate everyone else. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I have no misunderstanding. There's no misunderstanding here. You hate everybody else, right? It's very simple. And again, I implore the state of Arkansas to walk into this town. And no, this is not legal. This is absolutely not legal. No. Nope. Like, thanks for telling me you don't hate everyone else, but I don't care what you say. That's not really believable when you're building a town and you're like, hey, everybody else that doesn't look like me is not allowed here. What the hell are you talking about?
It's not about that. By any
it's a loving movement.
I mean, on that aspect of it being loving, I suppose the counter argument would be, it could be a very loving community if you're part of the community, but if you're black, if you're Jewish, or if you're gay, you can't be part of that community.
They can have their own communities, and they already do, and I think that's great for them. It's like if other people are allowed to do it, I don't really see why whites aren't allowed to do it. It doesn't.
Okay, I just, this is like also stunning to me when people bring up stuff like this, which is like, oh, if HBCUs exist, historically black universities, why can't white universities exist? It's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe because America has this history. If our country was founded here, and we're here, up until about here, nobody else had any rights as human beings besides white people, right? And so this notion, all of a sudden, that when we are attempting as a society, taking the first steps, I mean, the civil rights movement wasn't that long ago. Ruby Bridges was the first African American child to integrate into an all-white school in Louisiana. She's 70 today. People act like this was forever ago, and we're just in this new society where, oh, why can't we do this? Well, probably because we have this super long history of white people literally not giving rights to everybody else, right? So, like, it's important to have stuff like HBCUs. It is not important for you to have white-only communities, okay? That's been America forever. And we still have the most privilege in all of society. This human being never walks outside and thinks about their race in relation to anything. They never walk outside and think like, oh, how in any given situation, whether it's walking into a job, into a building, walking outside, being pulled over by the police, they've never been like, oh, how is this dynamic going to change where I am right now depending on my race? How's it going to change because I'm white? They've never thought that in their lives, right? It's the definition of privilege. Because other races have to think consistently about that, right? So this like argument is so like based in just garbage, racism, just trash. It's trash.
Doesn't make any sense.
But we're gonna hear from some more white people make comment on this.
You know what's interesting about the all-white community that these people want to build in Arkansas? Guess what? The locals don't even want them there. These people that are going there are from different parts of the country, different parts of the United States. Pause to read. So the locals in Arkansas are trying to kick your ass out. The white people in Arkansas don't even want you there. You're not wanted. The locals are trying to get rid of you. So I think it's better if you all want to make your all-white community, you go off to an island somewhere. You're like that plague that everybody's trying to isolate. So yeah, just go to an island, find an island, purchase an island. You probably don't have any money because you have nothing anyways. So yeah, try to go somewhere else, like an island or something. You'll be really great on an island. Perfect. Just go to an island. The people from the North Sentinel Island really want you to visit them. Really go visit them. They would love that. Go ahead and try to colonize them. See how that goes.
The white folks got their own neighborhood. Nobody's allowed over there. What y'all think about this? You know what it sounds like to me? Boring.
Quite clear. No one cares about the whites, only land. The blacks don't care. The whites don't care either, as you can see. Don't forget to share your thoughts on this topic down in the comments below.
So, just like a response to the Arkansas whites only town, I just want to say kudos to you guys. I'm really impressed with the way that you guys are doing something that's not new. And in fact, all over America, there's always been a whites only town. It's just they're not talking about it on media, and they're not bold enough to put themselves and their kids on media and admitting it. And in fact, I don't think many of them are well aware of the actions and the everyday things that they do that make it so difficult for outsiders to join their community. So, kudos to you guys for being that bold. Second, in any sort of self-organizing organization, there will always be a hierarchy. It is evident that white Americans sense of community or a sense of tradition or heritage that has been passed on in a way that makes them feel whole and strong and whatever it is, because MAGA is what's taken over, and it's helping them feel good. And I'm only saying this because I am a son of immigrants. Like, my grandfather was a Vietnamese dude. He helped the Americans. My other grandfather was a white guy who was in the Vietnam War and did not take responsibility for his Vietnamese family. And so, as a product of war, I'm here now, and I've learned how quickly tradition and culture from my background is going to die out, like within 3 generations. And that is sad, because then you have all these features and you're like, oh, where did I come from? Well, like, why do I have all this black hair and these types of features? Why do I look so different from my other Vietnamese counterparts? I get it. So, like, from a white American perspective, you guys came from the good old Europe. And I guess some of you guys are now from, like, South Africa. But the European Americans that are having these white things going on, like, I hope you guys know that you all were, like, against each other back in the day. Like, the Italians and Germans, you guys are white, but, you know, back in the day, y'all weren't friendly. It is mind-blowing to me that this is happening and that it's happening in America. It's not mind-blowing that it's happening in America. It's mind-blowing to me that I am existing in America as it is happening. So, that's wild. Again, kudos to you guys. I really hope that you guys understand the lay of the land. I hope that you guys take note of, like, the genetic components that happen, like the genetics that exist within you guys, and then recognize, like, are these genes going to be, like, great for living in Arkansas, living in an environment where the temperature is going to be hotter, where the sun is going to be a little bit more intense. Yeah, just, you know, there's a reason why some species survive and some don't, and that's a reality. And we have healthcare because for the genes that aren't great at surviving, like, that's why healthcare exists. Anyways, I'm rambling, but big kudos to you guys. You guys aren't reinventing the wheel. There's a whole bunch of whites-only towns there. I hope that you guys aren't violent. I hope that you guys, like, are trying to create a sense of community and some culture of white Americanness and understand history a little bit more, probably a whitewashed history, and have all the good aspects of it be passed on and sort of minimize the negative aspects of it. That's it.
To the white people that are like, oh my god, this is crazy, to that whites only town in Arkansas or Missouri, whatever backwoods fucking town or state it's happening in, you do realize right now in 2025, that's what the Trump administration, MAGA, a whole fuckload of people are operating on. They want this a whites only country. You're just surprised because these motherfuckers in that town are just saying it out loud in a way you kill of us. And I fucking hate Trump. If you followed me over the years, you know I fucking despise that man. Been talking about it for years. Been talking about white supremacy nonstop for almost 5 years. But I cannot separate myself from that as a white man in this country. But there's no surprises here. None. When you have a government that is sending out ICE to kidnap immigrant men, women, and children, put them in American concentration camps, when you have a police force that frequently murders black men, women, and children, when you have a government that continues to fucking destroy indigenous communities, when you have a government that pays for the genocide of the Palestinian people, when you have a government that has a white supremacist hand in Congo and Sudan and Haiti and all these other places across the world that causes death and destruction, when you have a government that is making their sole focus to destroy anything that involves diversity, equity, and inclusion, the deleting black indigenous people of color from historical archives, talking about how black history is divisive. Like the list goes on. When you have a government that runs off this idea that there's a white genocide, or that the white population is at risk of being destroyed, like this, they are trying so hard to make this a whites-only America. But the thing is, white people won't believe that unless another white person is like, hey, we're making a whites-only community. Then it's like, oh my God, this is bad. No, black, indigenous people of color have been telling America this for literally hundreds of years. There are black creators, indigenous creators, creators from other communities outside of whiteness every fucking day that are on this app telling the truth. But you won't believe that it's racism or white supremacy unless a white person purposefully tells you, hey, we're gonna be super fucking racist and build a white supremacist town. Then you're like, oh, that's okay, it is real. Listen to black, indigenous people of color. They tell you the truth. They know us better than we know ourselves.
The white folks got their own neighborhood. Nobody's allowed over there. What y'all think about this? You know what it sounds like to me? Boring. A bunch of corny ass white folks sitting in 100 acres of land or whatever in Arkansas, dude. Sounds fucking boring, bro. Sounds very uneventful. Y'all are all mad. Why? Who cares? I couldn't care less. You ever heard of Koreatown or Chinatown or shit like that all over America? People been doing that shit for centuries. Little Haiti, Little Havana. That shit's been going on forever. Little Havana sounds a lot more fun and interesting, and the food sounds better at least. I'm tripping on some dumb shit, y'all. Ever heard of Little Italy? The Diamond District in downtown in New York is basically Jew heaven. You never heard of any of these neighborhoods that are all one type of people? There's a bunch of places all over the country like that, dude. What are you tripping on? White people want to have a white people town. Gives a fuck. Shit sounds boring as fuck. Focus on your own life, bitch. You're a punk if you're worried about stupid shit like that 3,000 miles away from you. Oh, dumbass. Now, if they were trying to buy your land next to you, that's one thing. You ain't even got no land, so shut the fuck up. What the problem is that y'all didn't think about it first. Or the problem is you just pray for other people's demise and you're a miserable person. That's probably more like it. You just don't want nobody else to have fun. You don't want nobody else to have what they want because you can't figure out how to get what you want. Because you're stupid and lazy. You're stupid, you're lazy, you're a victim, and everything else, everyone else is doing has got you distracted from doing what you need to do for you. That's why you hate on shit like that. Self-induced prison, bro. You're in prison. In your own stupid prison. You're worried about shit 2,000 miles away from you. It don't impact you at all. You ain't got to buy their corn, motherfucker. Live your life. It's only one of them. Live your goddamn life and stop worrying about all this stupid shit. It's a waste of energy, man. You ain't moving nowhere with that type of shit you thinking about all the time.
Well, before I go to the next video and see, like the Joe before, that is so true. When black people say something, they don't get much coverage. They even hurt the algorithm on their videos. However, if it's on TikTok or on this social platform. But now it takes white people to bring it to platform. I just think that's kind of strange, but hey, and then like the guy said, there's already towns, and I'm about to show you a town we're still predominantly white. And shout out to his creator. His name is the same Taboo Room, Taboo. This was right next to my state, from Ohio, West Virginia. Watch this. Shout out to his channel.
This documentary is for educational, informational purposes only. It covers real people, real stories and raw environments, not to glorify violence or hate, but to shed light on reality. The content has also been censored to comply with YouTube's guidelines.
If you go to Dingus, I don't think you'll come out.
They told me not to come here. Said these hills don't take kindly to outsiders.
Yeah, there's white and black neighbors, I guess.
Black neighbour or a white neighbour?
I don't know what neighbor.
especially not someone who looks like me.
A couple black folks come into town walking. They wanted to go to Logan, and one of them got killed up there.
The population is 98% white, and the silence says more than words ever could.
You know, sometimes we feel like we have a pretty good understanding of what's going on and what to do, and sometimes we absolutely do not.
This is southern West Virginia, Mingo County. A place buried in the mountains of myths. One of them being only one black man ever made it out alive, a preacher 100 years ago. Much of this history has been wiped away or ignored, erased from the history books, hushed in conversations, but not forgotten, not here. But just recently, right here in West Virginia, a couple was arrested for holding people in slavery.
If you look at the images, it looked like an old school plantation. These kids were targeted because of their race.
They decided to adopt 5 black children, putting their adopted black children into slave labor.
This isn't the 1920s, it's 2025, and racism doesn't wear a hood anymore. It wears a smile or a stare. Sometimes it's in the questions, sometimes it's in what's not said at all. So I hit record and started walking. What you're about to witness may shock you.
Lord, I heard you know when somebody's at the bottom of their soul, and I hope.
You look online, they say it's the most racist state in America, and I've come to find out if that's true.
The richest state?
The racist. Most racist.
Racist? Yes, it is.
Why do you think people would say, don't come to Dingus?
Well, they're not used to people like you.
Dingus, West Virginia, is most famous for the Dingus Tunnel, a tunnel that is famous for its early 1900s railway robberies and racially motivated murders.
Oh, this bloody Mingo. Yeah, this county's kind of wild. It is wild.
If you ask the locals, they'll tell you that the walls are filled with human remains.
Dingus Tunnel has got more black people buried in the wall.
Burnt human remains were found in Mingo County.
Blueberry Avenue in Dingus. The men's remains had been there about a week.
They hung some people down there at the tunnel, didn't they? Yes, and they've killed lots and lots of people in that tunnel.
Mingo County, after the discovery of a body.
In Mingo County.
Mingo County.
Mingo
County. Because of the Dingus Tunnel and many other acts of violence, the county has been named Bloody Mingo.
Bloody Mingo is what I mean.
What's the name of this hollow?
This was Aphex Hollow, but now they call it Color Hollow.
No, what it used to be called before they called it Color Holler?
Aphex Hollow.
No.
Here's the wood called Bigger Hollow.
A holler in this context describes a small stretch of land between the hills where there is usually a tight-knit rural community living within it. In this case, Oscar called this holler
Holler.
A lot of my work gets demonetized, so if you want to sign up to my Patreon and watch uncut and unedited version, the link will be in the description. And if you want to see this documentary about West Virginia uncut and unedited, it will be on my Patreon. My link is in the description, and thank you for watching my work.
Because it used to be is a black people chewing on every front porch in this holler.
There's a black person killed on every porch.
Yeah, they people wake up and find people on their porch and stuff dead all the time.
Oscar, so if I came here and I didn't know anyone, how would I be treated here?
You wouldn't be treated like he is. You'd be treated upwards.
And why would that be? Just because of the colour of my skin?
Probably.
Was you, I guess, once upon a time, racist, so to speak?
Yeah. It used to be bad up here.
Mingo County has a total of 22,000 people. Many people in the county have only seen 1 or 2 black people in their entire life.
He said that this county only saw 1 or 2 black people in their whole entire life. Think about that. I want you to think 1 or 2 black people in the whole. This is in West Virginia, not too far from where I live at 3.5 hour drive. right down across the river. This is what I'm saying. America. So what I'm saying is America hasn't really changed. And I don't know, there are some people from all walks of life, start with some black people, white people, and other people, they think this stuff don't exist. They still believe that there's not people like this. And what they don't understand is, you know, if you're white, visit West Virginia, of course no one's going to say something to you because there's no other people around you. Black people, Asian people, Indian people, Arabic people, Latino people, you're white. You're fair complected skin. So that's why maybe the conversation don't come up in that topic. But it took this gentleman to break it down to what it is. And some profess to be Christians. Some of these people profess, just like that group out there in Arkansas, profess to be Christians. I was listening to what an elder gentleman, shout out his name Farrell, where Farrell said that. He said something that really struck me fondly. He said, and this was a black gentleman, he said, I can understand where they're coming from because a couple of things is that, he said, if there's a certain way of life. For one thing, you know, the Jewish thing, I can, you know, you can take that how you want. Black people, immigrants. But one thing about in LGBTQ, but in this society, there are people pushing certain agendas, and that in our schools about the LGBTQ agenda. That's not given. That was made be forced, not by giving a choice, but by force they would put to. So your child will have to learn something about how just like intimate relationship between a man and a woman be the same intimate relationship, and they graphic on how two men and two women get together in the same way as a man and woman get together, and they teaching this in school. So that's one of the reasons why, in that sense, you know, I could be in agreement, and I can say, yeah, that makes sense. I would want, you know, they don't want them taught to their kids, so they get out the system. Now, on the other hand, basically, I think it was offensive because to some people, even white people, because it's a white town. But as I can show you, they didn't have to put it and say white town. There were already white towns. And, you know, Dingus is not West Virginia. It's not a whites only town. But on the other hand, you have to go there and see it for yourself. And the people, the locals will tell you in that video that there's a separation, that there's black and white, but there's another place in the back of another part of that same township is nothing but white people, and they know not to cross over. But you know, you go and watch the rest of his story. He tells you more about it. Number two thing, and this is out of religious purposes. You have a Mennonite community, an Amish community, a Latter-day Saint community. That's a religious community, right? Aren't they living separate from people? And but then, you know, they have their own way to themselves. You have a indigenous community to themselves. So, but even though it's not built out of and even though out of Nazi, of course, the Nazi thing, that's completely crazy. You know, but either way, but that's their right. No one is mad about them having their own community. And I don't think people like, oh my God, why do you have to be like that? There have been sundown towns, and countless of creators talks about this. There are still predominantly white towns throughout this country. So for them to even say that, it doesn't make any sense. Why would they even make that statement? You know, just that, you know, you can name an area, they call it the Patriots, whatever. But they say this is what we believe, what they stand in. that's their choice. And if you, but it was kind of, I kind of cracked it with the elder gentleman said. He said, "Oh, you think them gays gonna put up with it?" He's not. The black folks won't go out there, but the gay people might go out there and protest because they have to have. And I said that's true. They might, and then how do you define who has a tendency to like men and women that like women? How are you going to define about that? Because there's quite a bit of Caucasians that are gay, and they can improvise. What about the people who are bi-curious? That's part of the LGBTQ community. So, and there's some people who are bi-curious. And then one of the things he said, they out there in the woods, and somebody started looking at someone's woman or wife differently. I said, wow. Another thing he made a good point is, what about if you need some emergency services? You way out there in the arcs, who's gonna come out there? There's no the private hospital, but by 25 miles away. You stuck out there in the middle of the woods. You have some kind of incident with you or your family or your neighbor. Where's the local medical center out there? And I mean, it could have some accident if there's a weather incident with weather, natural disasters, tornadoes. And then chopping down the trees. Some trees, for what my spiritual friend, primarily like my mother figure, told me that the reason why God made the trees because they withstand the storms. When they chop down those trees, that's why you get a big fluctuation of storms coming through. Them storms, the trees kind of put the block, the mood to some of that major disaster weather. So by them clearing that open, they make it wide open for the weather, for other disasters to come in. And you see in sundown towns, like in North Carolina, I made a previous video, that in Clyde, North Carolina, with the incident with the black truck driver, and some other areas of North Carolina, they got flooded. And their whole territory was wiped out. And another two things, they better have some insurance out there. They better have some natural disaster insurance out there. Because who's going to cover that? Have they ever thought about this? See, they did all these things, but they didn't think logically. Did they have a backup plan? But some people said they can understand the idea but when the black community decided to do something like that, they were doing it to get away from the oppression of these people that want to be Karens and Kens because they can't understand that there's another human being living next door to with different shades of color. That's why black people wanted their own enclave at one time, and they did this to some 19 black families that did the same thing. And they didn't say that they want other people, but they want like-minded people who represent their culture and represent. And I say, I understand. That's what it was not about promoting hatred or trying to do something like that. But if that's what they choose to do, that's their right to do that. And you find out there's some blessing going on out there. We don't care, And I mean, and for the white people that do, they shouldn't get upset about that. Who cares? They made their choice. They choose to separate themselves. And would you rather have them be bitter and angry around, be subjected to some people that they don't want to integrate and be a part of? Say feel like they're being forced to deal with all these cultures, religions. If that's what they feel, let them feel. Because there's other people that probably in other different nationalities, certain people, individuals feel the same way. Among every nationality, You have a few people that come out there now and come and assimilate in it, but most people stay within their own nationality. Everybody does this. And that's not hatred, that's what people do. You go into a middle among people who speak Arab, whatever, the Arabic speaking people, you know, the ones, yeah, they got stories in the integrated community, but most of those people that come from Iraq and Palestine and all these other countries near Israel, around them, Lebanon, they got their own communities. In Michigan, you have a Somalian community, in one of the biggest ones in Minnesota, mostly but Somalians. There's other people up there, white, Eritrean, and all them other people, but it's Somalians. So it really, what is it really, that's, in that aspect, what they're doing. So all of a sudden, but hey, if that's what they choose to do, they don't want to be around the people, it's a choice, because America has so much land and other places to go. So I don't think anybody should be worried about a group of people, like the guy said, that, hey, when other people have their own in the city, have their own little areas. Like he said, Koreatown, Chinatown, you know, little Italy and all them other places. That's true. No one said that they had to integrate. And not everybody's agreement. They got probably Vietnamese town, they got Korean town, they probably got Chinatown, you know, Filipino area, Pacific Islander area. Everybody got an area, but it's like, okay, but most of the people stay among their people. That's fact. And you go whatever part of the country, they probably most United chance they're among each other, and they feel comfortable among each other. So really, with the white people, they doing the same thing. Now, you know, but what I think what it was, the way they put it, like, you know, a white town only. That's probably what it was. But it's like, hey, and it's like I would say, dude, you didn't have to call it white town. You call it patriot or something like that. Because white people automatically, there's some people that live in predominantly white towns, and I notice some people, it's hard to believe that. But trust me, there's some small towns and practically boroughs and villages, and it's nothing but white people. Trust me when I tell you this. They can tell you that themselves. So they choose to separate themselves by status and class. You go out in certain parts of, like here in Ohio and other places, this area is still predominantly white. Not everybody is, you know, there's no, I mean, when I'm talking about white, I'm talking, there ain't no intermixing, nothing. It's just all of them. Blonde hair, brown hair, blue eye, green eye, brown eye, Caucasian white people. All over. Small towns. And so, and you might have one, and white family might adopt a black child or mixed race child, but that'd be one out of the whole freaking town. But most of that town is white. That's fact. That's not being, that's as far as, and then that mixed child or that black child is going to have the mind like they do. So, anyway, you know, well, yeah, that goes to show you America have always been separated. It is what it is. It is some people, and unfortunately you got some ignorant people that follow Trump that gonna believe it. It's like, how can you know, why are people still like, it's still so back in the past, until the people still, the past never left. The past never, this is what we've been trying to tell people. Just we in this generation, and everything goes into a cycle. Everything that was it comes right back around again. Racism is no different. It comes to a different cycle. In every generation, it visits every generation. Because you're on a land that it has a cycle. And it was one of the major social issues when it comes to people, even though people came from all walks of life, but they didn't see, all these people that come into this country didn't see eye to eye. And still don't see eye to eye. To this day. It's crazy. Because maybe you live in an integrated borough, suburb, or maybe state. But hey, man, you ain't been across this country. This place is still a place in the Midwest, West, South. It's still segregated, very segregated. And they keep it hush hush. And you will see the magnitude of the racism when you go with a friend that's the opposite nationality of yours, especially when they have darker hue skin. We've been, and this is as black people in this country, we've been telling people that. But even some people that look like us, they don't even believe it. And in other groups of people, oh, you guys are living the past. Now you see what the past, when you see someone like Trump, and you see it embolden the people who think like him. Now you seeing something that been revived because it's been going on. Go back in your history books. There were racial riots in this country that go back to the 1600s. And look and read what those people had to say back then with the different groups of people, particularly come to people that look like myself. Every time, if it was something in misjustice, it was always something race related. It could be something. You know the stories. A black man bumped a white woman. It caused the whole. This happened here. And she be a Karen and this happened. That spirit never left this land. There are some people still carry on both sides of the track that ancestral gene. This is there's some white people that carry that gene, and there's some black people that carry that gene of prejudice and racism. And I guess it's surprising to tell if you're a white person, you can tell someone just all of a sudden you have the conversation and the N-word go flying out their mouth. Why are you shocked? I can't believe. And then they start revealing more because that's ancestral thing coming out. What they've been taught and conditioned for years, and black people are taught the same certain things for years and years and years, and you have to break it. Some of us have. Not all of us, not all white, not all black, but some of us. And you're going to come across somebody who's a bigot and who's racist sooner or later. They're going to be on your job. They can be in your neighborhood. They can be in your child's school. No, you're going to come across them on this shore at some place in America. You're going to come across a bigot. A racist bigot. And then, at least these ones separate themselves. The ones that can irritate with all these different people, they still around the same people that they irritate. But at least we see, they're like, look, we want, and they say, fine, we want you to go. Be happy. If my presence and that deflect you and bother you, enough people that look like us, then go. That's what black people and other people are saying. And that's because everybody they're going to do their own thing. But technically, they are doing their own thing. Because there's some black people that don't want to be around other people in America. Because of what's been done and what's been reacted to them and what they seen someone go through. So it works both ways. And it's not just white and black, it's other people too. That protect to certain other people. But when it counts, when it comes to money, when it comes to capital, then they have to grin and bear it, and people don't want to grin and bear it. That's what it comes down to. And that's when they say, well, we got to deal with these people, even though we don't like the people, but we're going to smell, and they want to go and take their money. So it bothers them. Ladies and gentlemen, that's America. That's the other side of the ugly side of America. We got to deal with it till Jesus comes. That's the way it is. It's always going to be someone going to press it. Somebody going to be among your children and impart that into their children. You may not impart that into your children, but your children are going to pick it up in school. That's where it always starts at. They might pick it up in church, pick it up in the neighborhood. That's where it always starts at. It's a generational thing. It would always be a generational thing. But the only thing to do, you just, hopefully that you instill what's in them. But if you're white, and this particularly this video for white people, you're going to find someone that's going to be racist. Because why would they be racist? Because there's no other race. The people that look like you, look like me, most likely not going to be around you majority of times. And that's so they feel comfortable. And so relieved. And sooner or later, you're going to find out politically where they're at when it comes to different groups of people. You're going to see the envy, you're going to see the jealousy. You're going to see it. You're going to be shocked. And when you hear somebody refer to an individual as the N-word, don't be shocked. They've been waiting for that. There's some people, Trump people can understand, and that's the boat. Yes, it's been here. We're going to change. No, it's not going to change. Till God come, literally till Jesus stop back. I'm sorry. Not throughout the whole country. You still got sundown towns that's still banning. You still got people getting, not the ones that's doing something wrong, like any other people, but just because of skin color. People, like this guy that was a truck driver, that got tipped over. This stuff still exists. And they're going to cover it up. It's in law enforcement, all the way up to the White House. Why? Because of this. It's us versus them. That's how people like that think. So that's really particularly towards other people. It's a colonial mindset. Remember that. But anyway, I hope this video is eye-opening, but it's not just that part of the country. It never left. It still exists around you. Wait till you get in that conversation. If you're a white person, listen to this video, watch it. Somebody gonna flip the N-word. I'm telling you. You're like, oh, that's just Jerry. No, you keep paying attention to Jerry, because more of it's gonna come up out of him. All right then. Take care. Be blessed. See you on the next video. Like and subscribe. And hey, it's not, and I don't mean targeting other people, but it's for educational use only. And to wake the people up. And the people on the video show saying all wrong. Now you see, welcome to the other side of America. Take care.